Well, hello again and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. I'm Tom. As always, I'm with my gorgeous, wonderful, intelligent, extremely hardworking, environmental Disney-loving wife and co-host, Michelle.
Well, thank you so much, sweetie. Hi, everybody.
Yes, we are doing the episode on environmental Disney finally. It took us planning to do a completely different episode for us to finally get this one that we've been kind of putting off for weeks. So,
yeah, I mean, some other ideas had come across that I thought, or that we had talked about doing, and so postponing this one. And then I have to apologize to the newsletter recipients because I sent it out on Tuesday, had a big announcement for their eyes only. They were the first to hear about what the topic would be. And then life happened and there was a change. So this wasn't the topic that they heard about. That topic will be next week.
That one was reliant on some guests that we have planned coming on. We thought we were going to be able to get them scheduled with us, but some things got in the way, allegedly. They made up some excuses as to why they can't be on the show.
Family comes first.
I don't believe it, whatever. But they're going to join us next week, and we're looking forward to it. We're talking about Pat and Charles from the Conversations podcast. It's going to be fun to have them with us next week. But that opened up the window this week for us to be able to do that environmental Disney episode that I've been very excited about. And Michelle has put it together, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's hope so. Yeah, it's one of those I had, started on it, had, a portion of it ready. And then it's like, oh, okay, let's finish that one.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun today. So I'm looking forward to this one. I've been looking forward to it for weeks. So this is going to be very good. By the way, we are recording this episode on Sunday, August 7th, 2022. Hope your August is off to a good start so far as we wind down the summer season.
Yeah. Again, we always say this. It's all surprising how time is flying. But and I know for those of you with kids getting ready for school. Time to get those backpack supplies in and ready to go.
Some people are like, oh, we got to get the kids ready for school. And most people are like, yay, we got to get the kids ready for school.
I know, right?
Anyway, hope that's all going successfully for you. Thank you for joining us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there,
if you haven't done so, we'd love for you to sign up.
We'd love you and love for you to sign up for the newsletter.
Oh, man, this is a really interesting
We're off to a great start.
I know. There's been no alcohol. Oh, man.
Are you sure? I don't know about that. I've been gone all day at work. I don't know if I believe it.
No, trust me.
Anyway, please sign up for the newsletter. It's just a great way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. It's all full of Michelle-ness now as she has taken over the newsletter, and it is going well. She's doing some great things with it. And I understand she's going to have some cool stuff possibly involved with this week's newsletter as well. Another great way to be involved with us is through social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
Yeah, you'll love the people that are already there, and it's fun and can't say enough about them.
Nope, it's a great time. It's a great group. And we're just having some fun there, sharing things that are going on in our lives and in a positive way, whether it be Disney or whether it just be basic life.
Fun stuff in life, yeah.
All fun stuff. Also, we do have a YouTube channel. We will be getting some new videos up there eventually, hopefully not too long from now. So you'll want to be involved with that. Just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast. Hit subscribe, whenever we have a new video. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, as we always say, we love hearing from you, and there'll be something at the end that you may want to write to us to get.
Oh, interesting.
If you're not a subscriber. So, yeah.
We'll see about that. There. Yeah. Michelle always has the best teasers, for sure. Also, if you want to help support this show and get some swag out of it as well, there's some great ways to do that. The first is just go straight to our Spreadshirt shop. If you just go to spreadshirt.com and do a search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast, you'll find all our stuff there with our various logos, our various different colors, shapes, sizes, various different items as well. You can also just go to any of our social media profiles and find our Linktree account there, and there's a link straight to it. That might be the easiest way for you to find our Spreadshirt shop.
See, you said that very well. Bravo.
Yeah, I had to slow down to do it, but I got through it. Another great way is to become a Patreon member. All you got to do is sign up there and you get some great swag that way. Just go to patreon.com/Hyperion Adventures Podcast. We have tiers starting as low as $2 per month, and you get all sorts of interesting items just for joining up, and a podcast shout out as well. We appreciate everybody who's already become a Patreon member of the show.
Yeah, you're the best. We really appreciate it. As Tom said, it really helps to support the show, the cost of the show. We're not making any profit on this.
Far from it.
Yeah. And for our Patreons, you also will get an email from me this week.
Ooh, that's interesting. So be on the lookout for that, all you Patreon members out there. So now, before we get into this week's show, we always like to take a look back at the week that was, because, we all have those weeks. There's highs, there's lows, there's twists, there's turns. But we always like to focus on the positive here. And so we like to look back at what our favorite thing was from the previous week. And when we do this, we always start with Michelle, because she's awesome, wonderful, great. You're going to hear in a little bit. She does the best research. She has the best lists. She definitely has the best tips. And she also has the best my favorite thing from this week. So Michelle, what was your favorite thing from this week?
Well, I guess I'm going to give two out there. One of them is, more on a personal level, something that was really good that happened for you this week. I was really proud of you and happy for you, and that made me happy. So that's, I think, the main thing. But then to just be more specific about something else, I really enjoyed watching the new Legos summer vacation video. We saw a lot of great things this week.
Star Wars Lego
summer Star
vacation.
Wars Lego Star Wars summer vacation.
Yes.
Yeah, which was a lot of fun. Yeah. And so that was a good point in the week.
That was good. Yeah. I enjoyed that one a lot. I think it might have been one of my favorite that they've done since they started releasing these specials on Disney Plus so far. I really enjoyed that one a lot. And that was one of my favorite things from this week. The other thing is also the one you mentioned that we can't talk about yet, but it's not like what we were not being able to talk about for about a year earlier. This is going to be something we haven't been able to talk about, but I should be able to talk about it next week. But something that's good going on in my life as well. And I also, we saw Lightyear, because that was on Disney Plus as well, and I actually enjoyed it. I know it wasn't everybody's thing, but I thought it was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, it was cute. It was entertaining for sure.
So those were our favorite things from this week. If you ever want to send in your favorite thing from any week, we would love to share them on the show. You can hit us up through social media. The Facebook group is a great way, or if you want to hit us up on our Gmail account. That's a good way as well. Now, on to this week's show. We have lots of stuff for you this week, including it may be the middle, or at least the middle end of summer, but it's never too early to start planning for the holiday season at the Disneyland Resort. We'll talk about what's going on there so you can be set for your holiday type plans. There's a highly anticipated Marvel show that gets an unusual release date on Disney Plus. We'll tell you a little bit about that. And speaking of Marvel, we received more information on the superheroic schedule at the Ultimate Disney Fan Event. We'll tell you about that. You might be a special interest to that if you're planning on attending the D23 Expo. And, it's just a little over a month away now. Getting close. Close. But enough about all that. Let's go ahead and get to our very green topic of the week. Yes, very excited about this. We're finally getting to it. The environmental Disney episode. Michelle's done some great research about all the stuff that goes on, what Disney does to try and kind of help take care of the environment while they're also entertaining their guests. So, Michelle, take it away. Let's hear about what Disney does to protect the planet.
All right. So, well, one thing, I feel like I need to preface is that there's so much. I mean, this would be, we could do, it's kind of like The Simpsons. We could do it every day for like a week, and still not cover everything that they are involved with or touch on or support. So I just, really trying to put on my editor's cap here and cover some of the highlights of things that, hopefully people might not be aware of and can appreciate more, or just really like fun fact kind of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah. So kind of want to start out with a quote from Walt Disney from 1950, because I think it kind of really shows and sets the tone here of this topic and of the culture of Disney. But like I said, back in 1950, this is what Walt said. "You've probably heard people talk about conservation. Well, conservation isn't just the business of a few people. It's a matter that concerns all of us. It's a science whose principles are written in the oldest code in the world, the laws of nature. The natural resources of our vast continent are not inexhaustible. But if we use our riches wisely, if we will protect our wildlife and preserve our lakes and streams, these things will last us for generations to come."
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
very forward thinking, not a surprise from Walt Disney for sure.
Right. So, again, showing that this was in the foundation of the company, in their culture, from the very top of the organization. And like you said, very forward thinking. So the next thing, I'm just throwing this out there, as I was doing my research, and this is this part of it I'm going to explain is not written anywhere that I saw. It's something that came to mind, but it's kind of, to me, it formalized an idea of how does Disney approach this topic. And it seems like there's three elements in their strategies. The first is, as I talked about with Walt, the corporate culture, right? It's how it directs their decision making, from something that could be major, like creating Animal Kingdom, or something much smaller but still important, like removing plastic straws. What's in the culture that's driving some of their efforts. The next one is more financial, like what are they doing to help support, put monies towards, etc., for conservation efforts. And the third one is the component of edutainment. And I know we've used that term before, combining education and entertainment, kind of like this episode. But anyways, but using edutainment to help inspire new generations to move the conservation efforts.
Cool.
So if you think of like three circles and them converging, to me, it's like when they can hit all three of those components together is when they can have the biggest impact and the longest lasting.
Absolutely.
So anyways, that was just a little aside, but something that, like I said, for me, it helped formalize, how are they approaching this?
Excellent.
So, but if you see it a different way as we go through, or if our listeners see it a different way, please let us know. So let's go kind of back again in history with Walt. Actually, before that quote came out, in the late 1940s, Walt had that interest in nature and the importance of protecting it. And so he sent film crews to remote parts, first of the United States and then eventually throughout the world, to capture, some of this dramatic footage of, wildlife. And he really created the template for modern nature documentaries with those true life adventure series.
Yeah, those are wonderful. If you've seen any of those, at sometimes, I don't know if there's much on Disney Plus. I think they've had some
from time to time.
Time, but and they continue it on with the Disney Nature now, which is it's kind of that same concept that Walt started way back when, and it continues on to this day.
Right. So, and we're going to kind of get into that too. So it was also interesting to see that Walt he had all this footage and, was helping, he was actually overseeing this whole True Life series things and found them pretty eye-opening. And here's what he said. He said, the immediate need for education and practice in using our natural resources of soil, forest, water, wildlife, and areas of inspirational beauty to the best advantage of all for this generation and others to come is apparent. My interest in these problems has been sharpened by our motion picture production of wildlife subjects and the relation of animal life to all other conservation issues during the past few years. So, I mean, pretty incredible when you think about it. The 40s and the 50s, I mean, anything you hear about that time frame, conservation was not the big topic. There were some things, I think, from what I remember reading and stuff like that, like in the 60s and the 70s, where you start seeing more things coming out about that. But 40s and 50s, from a guy really interested in making movies and theme parks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty amazing. Like I said, forward thinking, ahead of his time, and not a surprise.
Right. So, as you mentioned, the Disney nature films kind of is resurfacing this culture. It started, I guess, a little over a decade ago. But, what's interesting in the Disney nature films is not only the education it provides to the viewers, but get this, as moviegoers, you might have been part of the conservation efforts of Disney because a portion of the ticket sales during the release week actually were directed to conservation initiatives by nonprofit organizations like the Jane Goodall Institute, the Nature Conservatory, and the African Wildlife Foundation, just to name a few of them. And those contributions can be linked directly to certain conservation outcomes. Do you want to hear about some?
Yes, I do.
Good answer.
I have one occasionally. It's very rare, but occasionally there's a good answer that comes out of here.
So for the Disney Nature Oceans, there was a donation given to the Nature Conservatory, and that resulted in 40,000 acres of new marine protected area established to conserve coral reefs in the Bahamas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The Disney Nature African Cats, a donation was given to African Wildlife Foundation, makes sense. Mm-hmm. And that brought about 65,000 acres of savanna protected to create conservation corridors in Kenya.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And Disney Nature Chimpanzee was given some funds to the Jane Goodall Institute, and that provided 130,000 acres of wild chimpanzee habitat protected in the Congo, 60,000 plus local youth educated, and chimpanzees were cared for.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. And so we could go on and on, but, obviously it's not just having like I mentioned, not just having the film to educate and to show what these things are, but then to have that give back part of it.
And not just, lip service to like, oh yeah, every portion of your ticket is going to these charities,
right.
To actually have some tangible thing that to show for it, such as these conservation areas,
right?
These preserves and so forth. That is a big deal. That's great.
Yeah. So it kind of makes you think next time they have one of the Disney nature films come out, it's like, you want to get out there that first week so you can participate in that. So the CEO of Conservation International is Dr. Sanjanyan. Hopefully I said that close to being right. He said, key thing about conservation is we need local people to care about what they have in their backyard. And these Disney nature supported projects are tying into communities around the world. We are not separate from nature, we are part of it. And Disney nature always reminds us, save nature, live better. And so the reason I put that quote in was that's 70 years after Walt's quote, right? I mean, that's, again, Walt forward thinking, company keeping it deep rooted in their culture.
Which is good. Again, some people will say that they've drifted away from Walt's original ideas on some things, but this is definitely a showcase that, this was something that he believed in, and the company is sticking to that.
Yeah. So here's a fun fact, that when land was actually being purchased for Walt Disney World, and we talked about that in a prior episode, but there was actually land specifically set aside as permanent conservation areas. So, it wasn't just, let's buy land, we're going to develop it and make money. It's, hey, we're going to, again, have some conservation.
Yeah, we're going to be using some of this land, but we always will have this amount of land that we will not be using, and that will be set as wetlands and so forth for these creatures and for nature.
Yeah. So later on, the company even purchased additional land. There was land that was once used as a cattle ranch, and it's now the Nature's Conservancy's Nature Conservancy's Disney Wilderness Preserve.
Well said.
I know. I think they call it Disney's Wilderness Preserve in short. But
sure.
But this preserve is a living lab where people work and learn together about healing the land, living in harmony with the land and natural environment. It actually also has a network of trails that anybody can enjoy.
Oh, lovely.
Right? Yeah. So, I mean, again, it's showing that the company giving back. They help pay for restoring some of this, what was a cattle ranch into more of a preserves, having that land set aside for people to, have an opportunity to even maybe experiment new ideas, new thoughts for conservation.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's great.
So kind of jumping around here, there also was, people may have heard Disney's Conservation Fund, and right around the same time, Disney's Animal Kingdom Park, kind of got the green light. And
Really?
Yeah.
The
green light. Ah, I didn't even realize that. Darn. Good catch, though. But yeah, in 1990, Michael Eisner green-lighted the concept for Imagineer Joe Rohde to open a theme park about Disney's Wild Animal Kingdom, and I have a quote from him. When we Imagineers started the development of Disney's Animal Kingdom, we knew that we were entering a new territory of storytelling. These stories were not fantasies, but real. They were not classic tales, but ongoing epics whose conclusions are still unknown. They were not ours alone, but shared with the people all around the world who lived with and cared for about the lives of wild creatures. We could not tell such stories unless we ourselves participated in the reality we were describing, contributed to the epic struggle, and shared our skill and commitment with people around the world. Thus, we concluded that an entity like the Disney Conservation Fund was essential to our story. Without it, our own words and actions would be empty. The story of Disney's Animal Kingdom and the Disney Conservation Fund is not just a story that we tell. It's a story we are living every day, every one of us. All of us on Earth share this planet with every living creature and with the systems that sustain them. For decades, through the actions of Disney Conservation Fund, we've worked towards our dream, a dream of a future for our children in which there is still magic in the forest, the magic that comes from the countless miraculous creatures, some yet undiscovered, that share with us a tiny, delicate place amidst a sea of distant stars.
Wow. Nice. Yeah. And one of the things I love about the Animal Kingdom Park is, the fact that, especially for kids, it's so hands-on and learning about all these. I mean, for adults too, but definitely for kids, they do a great job of the wilderness explorers going around and learning about the various different creatures the topography and the just the different ecologies and everything about the areas they're in. And I find it fascinating as an adult, but I think it's great for kids as well.
Yeah, and then even going in depth a little bit. Well, one, you can go and there's so much there that kind of guides you through a lot of activities, like you said, kids could do, but a lot of information there. Or you could even choose to do, some of the behind the scene tours to even get some in-depth information from there.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, since the creation of Disney's Conservation Fund, it has invested more than $120 million to help protect more than 1,000 species, support community heroes, and provide millions of nature experiences to kids around the world. So, pretty impressive that this company, has put some money towards some significant money towards something that has a lasting impact on everybody.
For sure. You see it every day. They're just doing some great things for the world.
Right. Exactly. So, another fun fact is, and we talked about some of these conservation activities or efforts in Disney's Animal Kingdom, but the company's commitment doesn't stop there. So it incorporates those into the design of all their parks and resorts. And there's one example you might not know about. At Disney's Shanghai Resort, they created the Wishing Star Park. And this provides a place for guests to connect with nature. Now, it was once a developed land, but now 100-acre lake, was restored with wetlands and more than a mile of pathways that go through woodlands and shrubs. And, it really provides, a great serene place that guests can go to, but it also has now become home to a lot of species of birds and butterflies and wildlife. And for some of them that may not decide to reside there, it is definitely a great location to provide a safe stopover for rest for long migratory journeys to and from breeding grounds.
Oh, that's very interesting, and glad that they kind of changed it around to make it better for these various different species and other pieces of nature, for sure.
Right. So, it's kind of cool seeing that, like we were talking about the other, land in Florida that was cattle ranch and now it's wetlands and stuff. And again, seeing how and it's not just like, okay, let's put some money in here. They're hiring people to design these things, to research how to do that, to actually do the work of getting it. It's pretty substantial.
And how to also make it good for guests, and that, it's not just, they are obviously improving this area for the species that visit it and either live there or, like you mentioned, stop over on the migratory paths or whatever. But while that's all happening, this is also a place where guests can go and enjoy the time and maybe get some serenity and peace and take in some of this wonderful pieces of nature as well. Again, Disney balancing between, being effective environmentally as well as providing a good quality product for their guests.
Right. And we all know that sometimes a Disney park can just be hyperstimulation for ourselves or for our kids, and having those kind of pockets of areas that you can go and just still be among a beautiful location within a park, but have some of that downtime.
For sure. That's great.
All right, let's talk a little bit now about sustainability. So actually back in December of 2020, Disney announced a very ambitious 2030 environmental goals that focused on achieving net zero greenhouse gas emissions for their direct operations, reducing waste, building more sustainable, and developing packaging and products that lessen the environment footprint. And they've done a lot to make progress on, they've diverted 61% of the total company operation waste from landfills. Across the film and TV productions, and, looking at Star Wars, Mandalorian, they focused on reducing waste and switching to lower emission energy sources and educating cast and crew on environmental best practices.
Cool.
And they launched plastic-free packaging for a line of their classic dolls that is made of 100% recyclable, sustainable source paper.
Oh, wow. I had no idea that was going on.
Right?
So that's cool,
yeah. And then there's solar. So let's talk solar, right?
You'll see it every time. If you're taking that monorail to
Epcot
right? or back, you'll see that big solar field there.
Very good. That was like the first line here on that. So solar energy, first of all, isn't a solar. Yes, it is a solar. It isn't a new concept. But Disney's really pushing it with this. And you may even remember too, universe of energy. And we learned a little bit about solar back then when it wasn't as cost effective as it is now. But, and as Tom mentioned, there's the Mickey Mouse solar farm at Walt Disney World, but there's some other exciting ones around. In Disneyland Paris, they're really setting the standard for solar energy in Europe. But they have one of the largest solar canopy plants. And what's really cool about this is they've placed some of these in their parking area, their outdoor parking area. So it actually provides shading for the guests' cars.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I would like to see that happen in more of the parks.
Right? Yeah. So
we all could use a little more shade when we're especially hoofing it out to your car way out in that long, the end of the row at Epcot or whatever.
That's true. In Hong Kong Disneyland, they're also setting an example locally, and they're serving as the single largest solar panel site in Hong Kong with over 5,000 panels across 20 attractions and buildings.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
And let's not leave out Tokyo Disney Resort. Solar panels have also been installed there and at Disney California Adventure Park to soak up the California rays over by the Cars Land area is there. And there's a facility that will power 70% of Castaway Cay for Disney Cruise Line's private island in the Bahamas.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, trying to put some thought to this. It says, when combined, Walt Disney World's total solar facilities will produce enough renewable energy to power up to 40% of its total annual energy consumption. And to put it into perspective, Disney's solar portfolio around the world can produce enough energy to power 8 Magic Kingdom parks of Walt Disney World.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's strong. Let's continue that because I love that concept.
Right?
I love what they're doing with that. Yeah.
I know. And it like I said, it's kind of fun too when they make it purposeful for the guests too, and providing some just little nice perk.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
And so when we talked about with the conservation fund and how there's support to help benefit ecosystems with communities, not just here, but around the world, and got a couple kind of cool examples for you.
Cool.
Yeah. So in Peru, they were facing high deforestation pressures. That's mainly because of illegal logging and clear cutting for agriculture and growth and everything. So Disney actually provided some initial funding to Conservation International to launch some projects. One of the projects worked directly with the communities on solutions to, help their families and help conserve the biodiverse forest there. So the participants received training on how to and access to efficient cook stoves, as well as assistance in developing alternative incomes like ecotourism and alternative crop usage. And it actually provided some tuition assistance.
Nice.
Yeah. So all in for the community of Peru. They didn't stop there. Since coffee is a predominant crop of that region, they did help also provide training on sustainable coffee, but they also tapped in on their resource of Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company and had them create a specialty roast sourced from the co-op that was developed in Peru as part of these efforts.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, bringing the right people and the right organizations together to help support this.
Right. And help it not only be, good for the environment, but profitable for the people there and for, Joffrey's as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know if anybody's ever bought any of that specialty roast, but you can, get it supposedly at Walt Disney World. I haven't looked now. I will look because
we'll be keeping an eye out for it.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the Disney Conservation Team wildlife scientists have been supporting local and international programs for the rescue, care, and restoration of threatened coral reefs. And what's really good too is that they're working with like the Bahamas and with the Florida as well at replanting coral resilient to things like disease and climate change.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. It's such a huge ecosystem for the oceans right now, and the fact that they are dying off in many places. And obviously, people are concerned about, what happens with cruise lines, and, they're not necessarily always the most eco-friendly vacation that you're going to go on.
Right.
But I know Disney, we've heard about it when we've done the Art of the Theme tour and everything that Disney does to try and make it as best they can. They always get great grades for how they approach their environmental impact for cruise lines. They're almost always, the best of any of the cruise lines out there. It's still, I mean, there's a lot, to it, but
Right.
If they can do what they can to make it the best vacation for their guests, but also try and be responsible environmentally, that's good. And helping out the coral reefs in a roundabout way is a part of that.
Right. Very good point, honey. So I have another fun fact for you here.
Okay.
The uniforms worn by the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind are eco-friendly.
Oh.
So 70% of each uniform's base fabric is made from recycled content. The metal buttons along the shoulder pads, well, they're made of 75% recycled metal. And the three-armed star insignia that designates their rank.
You learn all about that while you're in the queue.
Yeah.
You've been there yet. Yeah.
So those insignias are made from 95% recycled PVC.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah, very cool.
I mean, talk about, again, the culture and, how are you going to make decisions about what fabric and what designs are going to be used in the cast uniforms. Pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's always, about being able to reuse these things in a good way. I mean, these things, let's face it, there's a lot of things that we need to use. It's the best option for various different things we do in life. And when they're just a one-time use, that's not good. When you can find ways to reuse them, recycle them, whatever, that's a huge part of making our planet better. And I'm glad that Disney is making that effort now with the uniforms that we see.
Yeah.
In a very popular attraction.
Right. Pretty cool. So, we talked about how Disney lets guests or attendees participate, like in going to the film and the first week, having some of those proceeds go. But they actually have done some other things, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but just to, wanted to share this one with you that I thought was really cool. It was called Connect to Protect. And it actually, this took place when Pandora first opened. That they had this kind of like through the My Disney experience, this fun thing that you could do. It says, upon entering the land, the guests using the My Disney Experience app would be invited to instant message with one of the moon's ecological specialists, Fitzy Mitzi, or Fitz Buckley. That's what the article.
Okay.
Yeah. But Fitz will guide you around Pandora, showing off some of the more exotic elements of the environment and sharing important messages about conservation along the way that can be applied both on Pandora and here on Earth. Then after completing one or more missions, you will unlock a $10 contribution from Disney Parks through the Disney Conservation Fund. You will then choose how the contribution will help protect or restore habitats important to one of 10 threatened categories of animals, which are apes, elephants, butterflies, coral reefs, cranes, monkeys, rhinos, sea turtles, sharks, rays, and tigers.
Wow.
I know. So, I mean, again, pretty fun activity that they're providing, giving you some education, and then for each guest who was doing it at that time, $10 going to the conservation fund.
That was and it's a great concept of Pandora in the movie Avatar was all about protecting the environment and protecting these spaces for these species that live there. And, it was, people trying to clear cut these giant trees and really just just storm through the land there. So the fact that, that this land is based on something that is so, while being obviously wild and out of this world, you can still bring it close to home and understand, compare it to what we live in every day.
Right.
That's cool. They're not still doing that as far as...
I don't think they are still doing that because I couldn't find it on the app. And I think that might have been before they had the Play Disney Parks app. So...
That's too bad, but I'm glad they were doing that for a while anyway.
Yeah. So, but they, you can still participate, just doing some things like following designations on waste cans at the parks, and actually not too long ago, there was, the Disney company actually gave awards for teams that were working on different, aspects of conservation, and one of the winners was the group at Disneyland's Galactic Grill. The cast members and the chefs were involved in setting up new trash cans that actually had more definitive designations of what helps where. And they said they didn't have any pushback from the guests, and it really helped help prevent some things going into the landfills that wouldn't need to.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's going to pay attention to the trash can. They're just going to see a trash can. They're going to throw their stuff in there. But if you can even get a couple people to pause, take a look at it and figure out where they want to put this cup or where they want to put this tray or where they want to put this plate. It can help. It all adds up as many guests are there and as many people are putting their trash, their recyclables, whatever, within these cans. If you can just, get a couple more people to do it, put them in the right place, that helps enormously.
Yeah. Like they were even designating one for food. And so what they would do with that food waste would actually be putting it with composts. So it wouldn't go into landfill. It would be used to fertilize other things.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
So anyways, kind of all over the place, all over the map there. But that's kind of just brushing the surface.
I think that's just the tip of the iceberg almost of everything that Disney does. But I think as you can see by how many different, basically irons they have in the fire there, as far as what our ecological system is, as far as what they're doing environmentally to help this planet and, cut their own carbon emissions and everything. And to teach people on how they can do better themselves. And when you take it home from when you go to the parks and, continue on with it and do better at home as well. It's amazing. And again, so many things I know, Michelle, you couldn't get into everything.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like I said,
all day. And it's been a long day. I can't be here all day.
Yeah. And like I said, there's just so many things, there's a lot of things too with animal conservation that I didn't really even get into, but just so many wonderful elements to their programs and that they're continuing this, and just wanted to give everybody kind of a feel for that. There is a lot more under the surface that we're not maybe either aware of, but maybe now going to some of the parks, you can appreciate a little bit more.
Right. Yeah. No, it's great stuff. Michelle always does the best research. There is so much good stuff that Disney is doing to help the environment and to help your experience as well. It's a little bit of both. It has to be a good balance between the two. I mean, everybody is not a huge fan of the paper straws. They're tough, I mean, especially if you get like a big chocolate shake or something, you may need to get a couple of them because they're not ideal. But as much waste is being produced by plastic straws and everything, and those are single-use items. It's not like you're taking that plastic straw home, washing it, and reusing it most likely. It really is important to make those changes as tough as it may be. It is good for you. I mean, better yet, if you don't like those straws, they sell straws that are reusable, that you can wash completely with little brushes that you can use to wash them at home. and bring those with you in a backpack or whatever. It's one of those ways that you can help the environment. Not bringing the plastic bottles of water, instead bringing a refillable bottle with you to the parks.
Right.
That's huge as well. Little things, little steps.
Yes.
It just takes little steps to help the environment, and Disney's making both giant steps and little steps.
Right.
And we really appreciate it. Thanks, Michelle. This funny thing is whenever she does one of these research segments, I can tell when it's going to be a really good segment because she'll always hem and haw about, I don't know if it's interesting. I don't know if people are going to like it. I didn't find that much. Every single time I learn new things, I find out fascinating facts and fun facts. Michelle's research is always the best research.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, honey. Yeah, I mean, it's what I was sharing with you one time. I don't want to come across like as a teacher that's not on the final or anything like that. But, hopefully, again, getting to see some things that are really powerful and wonderful, and that you can then, again, our whole thing is how can you have more fun on your vacation or at the parks and stuff. And maybe this can also help with that.
Well, it's part of our, concept of being positive, and helping the environment is a very positive thing.
Right.
And it takes some negativity. You have to know that what's going on out there and look at that and know that there's a reason why you have to react a certain way, or certain things need to be a certain way. But it's a very positive thing to study it, to know it, and to work towards helping it. And that's what we're all about here. And so that's why it's hugely important. And again, I'm so glad that Disney does so much to make it that, and also to entertain us all at the same time. The balance is there, and that's great. So Michelle, great job again, as always. So let's go ahead and get to our Disney stories of the week. I don't know if they're eco-friendly, but they will be fun, hopefully. Start with, it may be nearing the end of summer, but it's never too early to start planning for the holiday season at the Disneyland Resort. We got some great information about that from the Disney Parks blog this week. They said Disneyland Resort will once again transform into the merriest place on earth for the holiday season beginning on November 11th, 2022. Through January 8th of 2023. So some good time there to go visit and take in the holiday season out there at the parks. Here's what they got going on. In Disney California Adventure Park, holiday decor will shine bright with a 50-foot tall Christmas tree on Buena Vista Street. And automotive holiday embellishment in Cars Land. We love that decorations. If you've never been to Cars Land, see their Halloween or their holiday season decorations, you're really missing out. You need to get out there and check it out because it is so well done. Yeah,
shows the how creative the people who live in Cars Land are at taking old car parts and making them very festive looking.
So good. It's done so well. The nighttime spectacular World of Color Season of Light will bring holiday magic by fusing cherished holiday music with memorable moments from treasured Disney animated films. That'll be cool because, World of Color was down for a while. Right. And so we haven't had it over the last couple holiday seasons. Well, there was one holiday season that was pretty much completely wiped out there. But even last holiday season, they didn't have World of Color back up yet. So it's good to get that back going.
Yes.
Enjoy that.
It's beautiful.
Yep. Through energetic live entertainment, culinary delights, and special traditions, Disney Festival of Holidays will highlight a diverse season of celebrations, including Christmas / Navidad, Diwali, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and Three Kings Day. Festival marketplaces across the park will serve a handcrafted menu of delectable food and beverages. The fan favorite Sip and Savor Pass, one of our favorites, will return to taste your way through 8 food and non-alcoholic beverage selections from participating marketplace and dining locations. It really is a great deal.
Yeah.
If you're going out there and are planning on sampling a lot of things, or if you're planning multiple trips, especially, the Sip and Savor Pass is really a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah. It, gives you, depending, if you use it strategically, you can get at least 20% off.
Yeah. If you use it on the higher priced items, it is a significant benefit towards the price of those items.
Right.
So.
And even if you don't, you're not paying more.
You'll break even at worst.
Right.
But a lot of times you'll be cutting the price of items by a buck or two at least.
Exactly.
So. Meanwhile, the Jolly lineup of holiday, I must be thinking of Mary Poppins, Jolly Holiday. The Jolly lineup of holiday entertainment continues with Mickey's Happy Holidays, a procession of Disney and Pixar characters dancing and marching along to the upbeat rhythms of the holiday toy drummers. I think we saw that last year when we were out there. The Disney Viva Navidad street party also returns, featuring Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse donning festive fiesta attire and accompanied by Mexican folklorico dancers and mariachis, Brazilian samba dancers and percussionists, and great mochiganga puppets. So that's a really great.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah,
Love
several
it.
times,
Yes.
and that's always a lot of fun as well. Plus, the Yuletide spirit will shift into high gear in Cars Land with 2 seasonal attraction transformations. Of course, Luigi's Joy to the Whirl and Mater's Jingle Jamboree. Always a lot of fun.
Totally.
Yeah.
Love it.
Disneyland Park will also be adorned with festive holiday decor, including an iconic 60-foot tall Christmas tree on Main Street, USA. Sleeping Beauty's Winter Castle will enchant from day to night with shimmering icicles and twinkling lights. In Town Square, you may encounter favorite Disney characters in their finest holiday attire, and some will be debuting all new outfits, so be prepared for that this year. And here's my favorite thing, because hashtag Real Men Love Frozen. Anna, Elsa, and Olaf from Walt Disney Animation Studios Frozen, along with Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Santa, and many other friends, will celebrate the season in a Christmas fantasy parade, a daily musical procession of floats, marching toy soldiers, dancing gingerbread cookies, and more.
Nice.
And in the evenings, the festivities will continue with the Believe in Holiday Magic Fireworks Spectacular, which will feature magical snowfall and colorful projections on Main Street, USA, and the facade of It's a Small World. Families will also be able to dance along with characters such as Goofy, Pluto, Chip and Dale, and others during nightly holiday dance parties at the Tomorrowland Terrace. The Tomorrowland Terrace dance parties are always a blast.
Fun. Yeah, totally fun. And the projections down Main Street, USA, Main Street USA is smaller than what you think of at the Magic Kingdom, and so you're right in the midst, and you talk about being immersed into that. It's so fun.
It's really good, and but I also encourage you, if you want to go see the projections, go see it on the facade of It's a Small World, because one, they're really well done. The projections are there, and it's right there in front of you. It's a great place to see the fireworks as well, and it's not as well known location. But also the switch from the lights because they always put so many lights on that facade, Christmas holiday lights on that facade of It's a Small World. And the switch between the two is always amazing as well.
Yeah,
so it's worth taking in both parts of being there at Disneyland.
Very good point.
Speaking of that, 2 beloved Disneyland attractions will return with fan favorite special seasonal transformations. It's a Small World Holiday takes guests around the world as dolls and toys representing children enjoying the distinctive holiday traditions of their respective countries. And in New Orleans Square, Jack Skellington and his friends cause a collision between Christmas and Halloween to transform the Haunted Mansion into Haunted Mansion Holiday, one of our favorites.
Yeah, totally. That is just such a high bar was set with that one. But even Small World, where, it's not just that they have holiday decorations or that the dolls have holiday attire and things like that, but they incorporate holiday music in with the It's a Small World music. It's very well done, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like they said, they make it so that, each different country or area of the world's kind of culture is represented there and what they kind of do for their holiday season. And I know that they've said in one of those Disney Plus or Disney Channel holiday specials, where they talk about transforming Disney or whatever, that every one of the dolls, the toys, they add a little something to it to make it have a little festive part of it. Yeah,
good point.
Very cool. The fun will also extend to downtown Disney District as well, with holiday entertainment, food, and photo opportunities. Lots of stuff going on there. So you can go down to the downtown Disney District and just pay for parking. And sometimes, if you eat there, you can get some of that
paid for. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can enjoy that without even having to pay the price of the Disney tickets and get some good holiday Disney fun as well. So definitely plan that all out. Moving on, a highly anticipated Marvel show gets an unusual release day on Disney Plus. This was interesting. Yeah. This from Marvel.com. Wednesdays are so last season. When Marvel Studios' She-Hulk Attorney at Law arrives on Disney Plus, it'll do it in style on a brand new day. Thursdays. Yeah, that's going to be new. It used to be when Disney Plus first came, hit the streaming service platforms. Pretty much all their new shows were always released on Fridays. Then eventually they started adding Wednesdays and Fridays. Right. Now we're going to have some new show that's going to be debuting on a Thursday. That's cool.
Yeah, it will be cool. And it's nice because then you can, you don't feel like you have to watch everything in one night.
Right. Yeah, lots of stuff. I'm glad there's new shows debuting on various different times of the week. She-Hulk premieres exclusively on Disney Plus on August 18th. So really, really close now. Yeah. We're coming up on it just 11 days from when we're recording this. In She-Hulk Attorney at Law, Jennifer Walters, who is played by Tatiana Maslany, an attorney specializing in superhuman-oriented legal causes, must navigate the complicated life of a single 30-something who also happens to be a green 6'7" super-powered Hulk. The 9-episode comedy series welcomes a host of MCU vets, including Mark Ruffalo as Smart Hulk, Tim Roth as Emil Blonsky, who you may know as the Abomination. Mm-hmm. He's appeared in one of the Hulk movies, one of the first couple Hulk movies before they were part of Disney. And Benedict Wong, as well as Jamila Jamil, Ginger Gonzaga, Josh Segura, and John Bass, and Renee Elise Goldsberry, who you may know as Angelica from Hamilton, the original cast of Hamilton. Yes, will be a part of it. So it looks like it's going to be a great show. Yeah. Very excited for She-Hulk Attorney at Law.
Trailer's hysterical.
Yeah. Can't wait to see it. Very cool. Speaking of Marvel, we received more information on the superheroic schedule at the Ultimate Disney Fan Event. Again, back to Marvel.com for this one. They said with just over a month until Disney's highly anticipated D23 Expo, presented by Visa at Anaheim, kicking off September 9th, Marvel is unveiling a can't-miss lineup of panels, stage events, guest appearances, and exclusive merchandise giveaways, and more. Fans will be able to explore the Marvel Studios Pavilion, which is always a great place to go check things out when you're on the expo floor. To experience an awesome costume display, exclusive giveaways, a photo activation, and other surprises. So definitely check that out. Elsewhere on the show floor, the Shop Disney booth will be spotlighting exciting Marvel merchandise featuring the Avengers, Spider-Man, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, along with a variety of other products at retailer booths during the show. Throughout the weekend at D23 Expo, fans won't want to miss Marvel's panels and stage events, diving into what's next for Marvel Studios, a celebration of 60 beyond amazing years of Spider-Man, an exciting current look at Marvel games, and more. These include on Friday, September 9th from 2 to 2:30 p.m. and Saturday, September 10th from 1:30 to 2 p.m. on D23's Expo Live stage. You can join Brian Crosby, Marvel's Director of Themed Entertainment, for a real-time step-by-step tutorial session on how to draw some of Marvel's most iconic heroes and villains. Yeah, how fun would that be to draw Spider-Man or Rocket or something like that? Yeah,
so cool.
Yeah, that would be a cool thing. We always like the animation, the art of animation kind of things that, I don't know if it's the art of animation, but when we go and you get to learn to draw the various different characters at the parks. Yes. As a Disney characters, I'd love to learn how to draw some of the Marvel characters as well. Yeah.
And I can see that being a real draw for a lot of, young people who might be getting into not just animation, but like storytelling and comics and stuff like that, and kind of gives them a little bit of broaden what their skills could be.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are going to be some really cool things. Yeah. Saturday, September 10th at 10 a.m., of course, is the big panel. That's at Hall D23. As previously announced, filmmakers, celebrity talent, and surprise guests from Marvel Studios will join Lucasfilm and others on stage in Hall D23 to showcase theatrical and Disney Plus titles. Going behind the scenes of those studios, highly anticipated films, specials, and series attendees will see exclusive footage and be among the first to learn what is in the works. We've attended those panels. It's amazing. Yeah. What you get to see ahead of everybody else. Some of the stuff they give away to you when you get in there and everything. And it's a hard ticket to get there. You're going to have to get lucky with possibly the little lottery or whatever that they have to get there. You're going to have to wait overnight, but if you're up to it, it's worth it because those panels are unbelievable.
They are.
They will give you memories from D23 that you'll just never forget.
Yeah, so totally true.
For sure. So also on Saturday, September 10th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Backlot stage, celebrate 60 spectacular, sensational web-slimming years of Spider-Man from his humble debut in 1962's Amazing Fantasy number 15. He wall-crawled his way to international superstardom, now join executive Spider editor Nick Lowe and editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski as they team up to trace the comics history of the the webhead across 6 decades and beyond. Tantalizing trivia about the web wonder will be shared in this can't miss panel, so be sure to swing by. And this is the big news for this panel. Fans attending will also receive a special exclusive giveaway while supplies last to be revealed in the coming weeks. I know we went to a big Marvel panel when we were there at the last D23 in 2019, and we got some exclusive comic book that with a specialized cover that was just made for that. And it was a phenomenal comic. It wouldn't surprise me if this is something similar going out to the people that attend this one, something special for Spider-Man's anniversary there. So.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah. Finally, it's also on Saturday, September 10th, at the Talent Central area. You can swing by Talent Central to meet Marvel's editor-in-chief, C.B. Cebulski, and executive Spider editor Nick Lowe for a signing opportunity. So they're going to go straight from that panel to go and sign and be able to meet, maybe take some selfies, whatever, with them. So that's cool as well.
That is cool.
Yeah. So lots of great stuff. D23 Expo, it's all coming together. I'm so wish we were going to be able to make it this year. Unfortunately, it looks like we won't, but we're excited to hear all about it and excited for all of those that you're going to attend. And if, by the way, if there's some people going, want to be our special correspondent from the D23 Expo, we'd love to have you on the show. So be in contact with us.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So that's it for the Disney stories of the week. However, we never leave you without giving you some sort of tip that might help you on your next vacation. When we do this, we always start with Michelle because, look, she does everything great. She's wonderful. She's awesome. She's all full of Michelle-ness, which is the best things in the world. You heard earlier, she does the best research. You know she has the best lists. She definitely has the very best tips. So let's get to it. Here's Michelle's tip of the week.
Oh, you're so sweet. Okay, so this is going to be a twofer. So first of all, if you'd like to get your hands on a great Disney activity guidebook for kids, sign up for our newsletter. And this guidebook is great that they put together. It's themed in the magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom series by Nat Geo that was on Disney Plus. It has it's really cool. It has like descriptions of elements of what it takes to care for animals and how to distinguish, like if you have a bunch of the same species, how can you tell them apart so you can really, get kids involved in some of that. And it also gives kids things to do, like just go outside and with it, like we said, in your backyard, and some fun activities. So sign up for the newsletter. You'll get that. If you don't want to sign up for the newsletter, we can understand. Just drop us a line at our Gmail address and we'll get it out to you. But my real tip is to let you know that in Disney's Animal Kingdom, that throughout the park, there are guides there or informative people who are willing to share information to you. And we've done that several times, just the two of us. They're not looking necessarily that there's a big audience. And what's really great is they're there ready to tell you something. So you don't have to feel like, oh, I got to come up with a smart question or what should I, talk to them about. It's just a really comfortable, fun way. And they really tailor it to the audience. We've watched them, maybe with some smaller kids, and really present the information in a way that would be more, well received by little ones. And so take that opportunity, because it just makes being at that park even that much more special. Yeah,
it just opens up the world that much more to you and your kids. And it just, it's really, really what they do. Great stuff there. It's really, really good. So,
exactly.
Michelle's tip, always the best tip. Multiple tips. And sign up for the newsletter and get that other thing. Or you also hit us up at the Gmail account, but she'll get you that workbook, that fun stuff, fun activities for kids.
Right. Exactly.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So. Michelle's tip, like I said, always the best tip. My tip for this week. Now, look, obviously we all know Orlando is one of the best vacation destinations in the world. It's, people love to go there, go to the parks. Yes, of course, Disney, but various other theme parks that we've heard something about. I think there's something around, a couple other things that go on around there as well. People like to visit those as well. But one thing also about Orlando is it's also a huge destination for conventions and, even team building events for companies or whatever. So a lot of times there's people coming from out of town that aren't necessarily going to the Disney parks. But that doesn't mean they don't want a little Disney while they're in town. And there's a good news is that there's some great ways that you can, if you're coming with your company, with your team, with your group, whatever, Disney will work with you to try and help you have some good Disney fun in that time, maybe after you get out of your convention events later in the day, maybe on the day you arrive, maybe the day before you're going to leave. They will work with you to try and build something that you can shape depending on how much time, how many people you have, and give you some good, little piece of Disney while you're there for this, important business stuff that you're doing. So, there's an easy way to do this. You can just go ahead and go to the Disney meeting and events website that they have, and they'll lay out a bunch of things there. They can show you how you can contact, and they will work with you to build out some sort of team building event, or whether it be, just a dinner, whether it be an actual visit for the parks, a tour for your group, all sorts of interesting things. They have the ideas for you to try and help make this and get that little bit of Disney. I mean, you're so close. You're in Orlando. You're going to these conventions. Why not take advantage of it? All you got to do is go to DisneyMeetingsAndEvents.com and get things started. They have all the contacts there. This isn't just for Walt Disney World. This is what we're talking about, but this also goes for Disneyland and even some of the Disney parks around the world. They'll help you if you're going someplace else for a business meeting, for whatever else, for your group, for your company while you're out there. So contact them and, like I said, add some Disney to your convention group.
Great idea. Great tip, baby.
Thanks. So that's it for this week. Next week, well, we are going to go back to that thing Michelle promised. We have it all penciled in. We have the plans in place to make this happen this week. We will be bringing in the guys from the Conversations podcast, some of our favorites. Great guys, Pat and Charles. Their show is amazing. Check it out. If you like Star Wars or if you just like to laugh, they have a great show, and they're going to be joining us. And Michelle has a fun topic to torture them with next week that I know that the reason they didn't join us this week is they were very concerned about what Michelle is going to drop on them. Because, it's full of Michelle-ness, but it's always something that they have to do.
I think this one will be an easy one for them, actually. I think I'm going to be pretty on the light side for them. It's
going to be great, but of course it will definitely deal with Star Wars, and we know just being with those guys is a lot of fun, but we know it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. You'll enjoy it, and it's like you said, a lot of fun, a lot of laughter. For sure. So as for today's show, we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you'll find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there, we'd love for you to sign up for our newsletter.
Please sign up for the newsletter. Michelle's got great stuff going into that newsletter, all sorts of new Michelle-ness going in every single week. It's just a great way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. Another great way is to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
Yeah, we just enjoy that group so much, and we love just celebrating each other's fun and positivity.
Definitely. That's what that group is all about. Also, we are on YouTube. If you want to find us there, just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast. Hit subscribe. You'll know whenever we have a new video, which there are going to be some coming, I promise you, somewhere in the near future. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
And the other thing we really appreciate and have really helped support this show is if you tell a friend or family member about this show, or give us a 5-star review.
Yep. All great ways and easy ways to help get this show, have a larger listenership, more Hyperion adventurers, which is all we really want. We just want everybody out there to be involved in this positive Disney journey we've been on here. So that's it. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a magical week.
Bye.